Reds in front of Game 2 of this four-game set between Colorado and the NL Central Division leading Cincinnati Reds. Rockies now 9 games north of 500. They didn't get any help last night because San Diego finally won, snapped their 10-game losing streak. The Giants won. They're a game back. The Rockies 4.5 back in the division. They are 5 back in the wild card race as they trail Philadelphia and San Francisco. Hi once again, everybody, with George Frazier. I'm Drew Goodman. One of the reasons the Rockies have been playing such good baseball of late has been that dynamic duo in the middle of their lineup, Carlos Gonzalez, Troy Tulowitzki. And if you searched around baseball, you could not find a more productive 3-4, especially over the last couple of weeks.
Well, the last couple of weeks, they basically carried the offense in this ball club completely, and you see this in very big numbers. 436 average, 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 25 runs scored in the last 14 games. I mean, this ball club has jumped on the back of these two players, just like Cincinnati does with Votto and Roland, and you got Holiday and Pujols. Well, this is the two guys the Rockies pull to every single time that they need a big hit, they need a run driven in. Both guys hitting well over 300 with runners in scoring position.
It's the old adage in baseball, pick your poison, so they really complement one another. If you don't want to deal with Tulowitzki, chances are Cargo may get a fastball and you're not going to like the result. If you pass on Cargo, you get Tulowitzki.
Well, and guys behind Tulowitzki now starting to swing the bat better. Mora has been there, Helton has been there, so that increases his fastball chances, and it just double dare you to go after either one of them.
That's a lot of production over the last 2 weeks. When we come back, we'll talk about Yolis Chassin, the 22-year-old who's been very, very good of late. He'll have the baseball this evening. going tonight. A 22-year-old from Venezuela in CIN, a 24-year-old for Cincinnati, and Johnny Cueto, who's 12-4.
Cueto's throwing the ball very good for their ball club. It's obvious with the numbers he's put up, 114 strikeouts and 48 walks. But it's the youngster for the Rockies, Yoli Shashin, that is starting to turn the heads of everybody in baseball as he creeps up to the top of those top 5 numbers in rookies. And you start to look at strikeouts, its opponents' batting averages, and all of a sudden innings are starting to get there because he's had that ability to work deeper into ball games and do a great job for this ball club. He has been a find. He's living up to the guy that won 18 games and 2 stops in A-ball, struggled a little bit in Double-A. Now all of a sudden he's found his niche, and his slider is rated as one of the best in baseball.
Well, his record's misleading, George, at 7-9. He has not had great run support. In fact, he's only given up 2 earned runs in his last 20 innings, so that gives you an idea how well he has pitched. Let's get you more from the field. We check in with Mark Stout. Mark?
All right, guys, I've got connections to tell you about tonight. Jim Tracy and Reds first base coach Billy Hatcher, they go way back. Reds right fielder Chris Heisey has an interesting connection to teammate Scott Rowland. And I'll tell you how Rockies rookie Chris Nelson and Brandon Phillips are connected. That's coming up during the game. Guys?
All right, Mark, we'll look forward to those stories and others. Tonight is Tuesday night, so make sure you send us some text messages. Any question you'd like? Come on back to Coors Field with us, Rockies and Reds. On FSN is brought to you by Quest High-Speed Internet. Get blazing fast speeds that won't burn up your wallet. By E470. Use E470 and you'll get to the airport with time to spare. By Ford Escape. So much fun and so little fuel. Ford Escape, drive one. And by Brakes Plus, a whole lot more. It is hazy, and I'm sure all of you are aware why. I wish all those firefighters and all those folks who've been displaced now in Boulder County with that expanding wildfire all of the best, and that is why it is hazy here in the metropolitan area. The Rockies and Reds, it is game 2 of a 4-game set, game 2 of a 10-game homestand for the Rockies. Again, 25 ball games left for the Rockies. You saw the work they have left, 4.5 back in the division, 5 back in the wild card. 15 of those 25 will come right here at 20th and Blake, and 10 on the road, including the last 4 ball games of the year in St. Louis against the Cardinals. There's Dusty Baker, and here's his lineup for a Tuesday night. Brandon Phillips has been in the top spot in the order since the latter part of June. Orlando Cabrera back healthy again after an oblique injury. He's in the 2-hole. Joey Votto, Scott Rowland had yesterday off, 6-time All-Star. Johnny Gomes, Ramon Hernandez. Drew Stubbs in the 7th spot. Chris Heisey is out in right field, and Johnny Cueto is on the mound. And there is a better look at a stocky, powerfully built Jhoulys Chacín.
7-9 overall record, a 3.69 earned run average for Chacín. You look at the opponent average since the All-Star break. They're hitting 190. 1 home run and 30-plus innings. Right-handers, which he'll deal with tonight in this lineup, the power right-handers, Roland and Gomes. Gomes took him deep earlier in the year. Both right-handed have only hit $190 against this youngster.
Let's take a look at the gloves tonight, George. Behind him, it'll be Carlos Gonzalez in left, Dexter Fowler in center. Just one error between those two guys. Seth Smith's in right field. Mora at third, Tulowitzki and Young up the middle, Todd Helton at first, Miguel Olivo behind the plate. Yes, it's the same lineup you saw yesterday for the Rockies in their 10-5 victory. Your first pitch is brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Text keyword pizza followed by a space in your name to 95323 to receive your Domino's special offer and to be entered to win a pizza party for 12. One weekly winner will be chosen. We are thrilled you're with us. It is going to be a fun ride this month of September. Here we go. And Brandon Phillips fires at the first pitch and he fouls it off. It is 0-1.
And he had Mora pulled in pretty tight at third base because yesterday he laid down a bunt, a guy that will do that occasionally to try to get on base.
80 degrees game time temperature. Very pleasant evening. Phillips, the former Cleveland Indian, and he takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Important that you're able to show you can get that over early in ball games for a young right-hander like Chacín, because obviously that thought gets in the mind of the Reds hitters.
Here's the 0-2. And he was tardy on a 92-mile-an-hour fastball. So he went heater, he went slider, and then he went back with the heater, and Brandon Phillips has a long walk to the dugout. Fans, remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special only at Taco Bell. George, did you get there today?
I did get there today, and by the way, one thing I'd like to point out yesterday, ball shot by Moore down the left field line for a base hit by Cabrera. Yesterday, the Rockies felt comfortable riding the fastball up in the strike zone and getting good results. That's what they did with Brandon Phillips, but a first offering here got through quickly. One quick look, fastball down and in, shatters the bat, but yet the result good for Cabrera, right by Mora, who was playing even with the bat.
So 1 out and 1 aboard, and Joey Votto comes up. It's an interesting night in that two guys with a lot of ability in Chacín and Cueto, yet there's not great familiarity between the hitters of these two pitchers because they haven't seen each other a lot, the two clubs, when Chacín's been on the mound or Cueto's been on the mound.
Just 3+ innings of relief for Chacín, so they've gotten 1 at bat against him. Talking about their lineup and vice versa on the other side of things, not much has happened there either.
Here's the 0-1 of Votto, and that catches the corner. 0-2. Joey Votto yesterday was 1 for 3. He had a double over the head of Dexter Fowler. That came against Ubaldo Jimenez. Cabrera with a short lead. And swung on and missed. Chacín has now faced Votto twice, and he has struck him out twice. 2 gone as Scott Rowland will approach.
2 breaking balls that he looked pretty foolish on out of the hands. He had a late cut and dip down in the strike zone. And a great location on the Hyundai cam. You can see it. It got him enough on the front foot. The head pulled. The front shoulder flew out. It was a good pitch.
So Rowland, who got a day yesterday, 6-time All-Star, has had a big year. 297 average, 19 home runs, 78 RBIs. And George, remember when Walt Jocketty went and got his old player from St. Louis, from Toronto? They are 35 games over 500 when he's in the lineup since the acquisition.
Take away what he's done in the lineup, what he has done at third base. It's more importantly, it's what he's done in the locker room and changing the face of the attitude of the players. The way the game is to be played for Dusty Baker. He's an extension outside of his office. in controlling what goes on and the respect that he demands from his teammates.
1 ball, 1 strike. That's on the inside corner. So he's working both the inside half and the outside half, and he's had very good command here in this first inning. Struck out Phillips on 3 pitches, got Votto on 3 pitches. Cabrera swung at the first pitch, that broken bat single. Let's check out the runner at first here. Outfield a couple of steps toward right center. And the 1-2. And it's popped up. And out of play. Olivo will give it a look. Rockies made some roster moves again today with the conclusion of the minor league season yesterday. The Rockies have brought up a guy that was a star in their uniform a few years back, Jay Payton. He had a great year at AAA, so the Rockies will bring Jay up, right-handed bat, a guy who can run off the bench. Edmir Escalona, who has a big arm, and his command was better in the second half. Paul Phillips, who's been up and down. And the Rockies had to make a move on the 40-man roster, and Taylor Buchholz, George, was designated for assignment as you look at the veteran Jay Payton.
Well, Buchholz will draw attention from other teams. A right-handed guy that's been through the wars and recovering from Tommy John surgery, had shown he could get back, get in games. I think that opportunity will present itself for him, and it presented one for Paul Phillips again, and largely due to what happened to Olivo yesterday late in the ball game to get a 4th catcher up here.
Michael McHenry was brought along yesterday, if you wondered about George's reference to 4 catchers. So McHenry and Phillips have joined Iannetta and Olivo. 1-2 again on Roland. And this is pulled foul.
Way foul. Did he hit that all the way out of the stadium?
He may have.
Doesn't matter. It's still a long fly ball foul.
Or maybe it landed in the 3rd deck.
Did it land right up in here? Okay. Doesn't matter. It's foul ball.
CIN already with 2 punch-outs, averaging 9.5 strikeouts per 9 innings in his major league career. This year he struck out 114 in 108 innings. There's a changeup just missed in. 2-2 on Roland.
Inside fastball in on the hands, not allowing him to get extension after that pulled foul ball.
Swung on and missed. CIN wins the battle with Roland. He strikes out the side. Cabrera left at first base. Double yesterday. He'll be leading things off against Johnny Cueto. He'll be followed by Dexter Fowler for Jim Tracy tonight. Then Carlos Gonzalez, who's hitting about 10,000 the last 2 weeks. Troy Tulowitzki, he's been unconscious as well. Todd Helton next, and Melvin Mora, Seth Smith, Miguel Olivo, who had a double in yesterday's ball game, the deep left center, and Yoli Chassin. Cueto's not a big guy, George, but he throws hard. He's got a good changeup, very good slider.
He does have a very good slider, only giving up 16 home runs. He struck out 114, only walked 48, 150 hits. Where he gets really tough is when he gets men in scoring position, regardless of the number of outs. 237, and with 2 outs, 220.
And Eric Young taking a look at a pitch clearly, since he dropped one hand off the bat as he was traveling to the plate. 94 inside, 1-1. And a soft liner that's going to drop. And Eric Young and his blazing speed is aboard to begin the bottom of the first inning for the Rockies. Let's take a look at the Reds defensively. Johnny Gomes in left field. Drew Stubbs, who can fly in center. Chris Heisey is in right field. Roland at third, great glove. Orlando Cabrera very steady at shortstop. Brandon Phillips made only 2 errors all year at second. Votto at first. Ramon Hernandez is behind the plate. This is a good defensive unit.
Speaking of Hernandez, 32% success rate of throwing out would-be base stealers. Cueto's very, very fast to the plate. It's a kind of a semi-rock set, and it's not truly a side step that he'll take to the plate, a slide step, but he's quick to the plate.
0-1 on Dexter Fowler. Rolling in on the grass. And that pitch misses. Dexter taking a long look down at Richie Dower. And that pitch misses outside.
Not truly a catcher or ex-catcher on the coaching staff. Chris Spire, who handles the dugout as a bench coach, also handles the running game for their ball club defensively of what they will do. Little signs being given out of the dugout to Hernandez.
Chris and Dusty go way back.
They're teammates. Chris, teammate of mine in Chicago. They've been teammates in San Francisco.
This ball pulled for the whole base hit. As Young was moving, he'll easily get to third.
And those numbers I talked about, they're going to get tested for Cueto because nobody out. Runners on and scoring position, 237.
You know, the track team's on base. First and third for Carlos Gonzalez.
Shot through the right side by Dexter Fowler with EY moving. Second base Phillips had moved to the bag and just shot through that right side, and not a position you want to be in at any time. But right now, as hot as this young hitter is, you don't want to be in this position. All you're hoping for is 1 run, not 3.
And this is what we were talking about, George, a few minutes ago in the open. It's pick your poison for Cueto. I mean, first and third, nobody out. You got Gonzalez with Tulowitzki on deck. And this ball's driven to deep left field. And it is 3-run opposite field home run. Just like that, it's 3-0, and we have a new RBI leader in the National League with an even 100. Carlos Gonzalez on his 32nd jack of the year.
You want to put a statement on a guy that's 12-4 and has pitched beautifully, but thrown 8 pitches and given up 2 singles and a blast.
How about that line drive? Our Coors Light cold hard blast. It was all of that. An opposite field 3-run homer to get the crowd out of their seat early. I wouldn't touch him. You may just fry your fingertips.
Dusty's over shaking his head like Cueto. I've gotten 8 pitches into the game and I'm 3 down.
Swung on and missed by Tulowitzki.
Let's look on the Hyundai cam right out of the release from Cueto across the plate. Sinker trying to run it down to the outside corner. It's running there, but this is a good young hitter, folks. Just took it to the opposite field.
And Troy pops this one up. Brandon Phillips territory. And that's the first out of the inning. 3-0 Colorado, and we'll remind you that tonight is Text the Booth night. Here's how you do it. Text the Booth, followed by a space, and then your question to 95323. It's brought to you every Tuesday by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com, Colorado's largest selection and lowest prices of office furniture. Helton takes down low. That was such a good at bat, George, and I'm not talking about it because of the result. But he went up there with the intent to drive the ball to the outfield and get that run home.
He's just trying to hit a fly ball. I mean, he wasn't necessarily trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. He's just trying to hit a fly ball. We got a first pitch fastball offering that was working down in the zone. He squared it up and sent it out of the ballpark.
3-0 on Helton. How often have you heard with guys that hit home runs but also hit for average that they don't call themselves home run hitters? They call themselves line drive hitters. They're not trying to hit home runs, and I've heard Carlos say that.
Well, most home run hitters are going to tell you that. The only time you'll hear them say, I'm trying to hit a home run, this ball's hit right.
Yeah, this ball's hit to deep left field. Johnny Gomes, a step in front of the wall, hauls it in. Todd gave it a ride. 2 outs.
You won't hear home run hitters talk about home runs till the 8th or 9th inning when they need one to tie a game or win a ball game. Most of them talk about hitting the ball hard, line drives.
Two outs. Here's Melvin Mora. He's fouled off. He is electric. He's been electric all year. And this run he's on is just out of this world. We're talking about a guy who now has a 15-game hitting streak, which is the longest by any Rocky this year. It's the longest of Cargo's career. Barmes also this year, folks, had a 14-game hitting streak. But he's hitting about 550 with a ton of ribby, 7 home runs. And also he's in the Rockies record book yet again. It's the 34th time a Colorado player has produced a 100 RBI season. And it's the first since Matt Holliday in 2007, who ironically he was traded for when Matt drove in 137. This ball is drilled to the gap in left center field. Stubbs trying to get there. He's hit. And no help behind him. Run, Melvin, run. A stand-up triple somewhere around second base. The refrigerator jumped on his back a little bit.
And I looked out into the outfield and said, if I don't have to get there in this big a hurry, I'm not going to worry about it. And that's exactly what Mora did. Took his time getting in to get his 4th triple of the season for Melvin Mora, and it brings Brian Price out of the dugout from the Cincinnati dugout. Fastball again, trying to ride in onto the hands. Watch the front side open. The bat head get to it in a hurry and just jerk this thing out into left center field. Very short, quick to the baseball for Melvin Mora, and the result's good. He gets out here and he looks at the balls all the way to the wall, and it's like, you know what? I can coast it in from here.
That'll bring up Seth Smith now that the conference is over. 3-0 Rockies already on 4 hits. They're a double shy of hitting for the cycle here in the first inning. 2 singles, Young and Fowler to begin things. Carlos Gonzalez 3-run homer. And now Melvin Mora with a triple.
The last thing Dusty wanted to do, again, he used 6 men out of his bullpen yesterday, even with the expanded rosters. These things got carried away early in the game yesterday.
One ball, 1 strike on Smith. I thought Seth, George, looked like he saw the ball better yesterday. He was 1 for 2 a double, and he had a couple of walks.
You see the numbers at home. They're outstanding. 11 and 31, hitting over 300.
Down the line, just foul, or that would have been your double.
hitting over 300, hitting 311. The struggles have come on the road. But just inside that first base bag as the umpire straddling in foul territory is able to see it. Mike Riley, the veteran umpire at first.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Smith.
Yeah, it's not a comforting feeling for a pitcher when you're going to your go-to pitch. The one pitch that gets you out of innings, that's the hard slider. Levi broke his bat. On Dexter Fowler, he jerked it down the line. He does get the strikeout of Smith on the slider.
But he was out there for a while, and the Rockies rattle him for 3 runs. And guess who was in the middle of it? Carlos Gonzalez, his 32nd jack of the year, his first 3-run home run of the year. Gonzalez 3-run jack. Let's check in with Mark Stout for tonight's Great Colorado Payback Sideline Report. What's up, Mark?
Hi, guys. I want to take you back to 1984. That's when Reds first baseman Billy Hatcher, first base coach here in front of me, was playing AAA ball for the Iowa Cubs. Rockies manager Jim Tracy was just back from a short stint in Japan, and he was with the Astros organization. And then the Cubs made a deal for Rick Sutcliffe, where they traded Mel Hall and Joe Carter, some promising outfielders. They needed an outfielder, so they bought Jim Tracy from the Astros. Jim Tracy and Billy Hatcher lockered right next to each other. They have been best of friends ever since he was happy to see him when he got here to Colorado. Now, George, were you not involved in that Rick Sutcliffe deal?
Yes, I was. So, I was wondering if you might have done the extra research. Me and Ron Hassey, a former Rockies coach, was also involved in that trade.
So you're tied into all this.
Well, I guess I am.
Right.
Somehow it got in a circle from Japan to Iowa to Chicago to Cleveland, but yeah.
And here to Coors Field, it's the connection night.
I know you were terribly disappointed, Frage, when that trade went down.
I was just heartbroken that I had
the Indians to the Cubs.
Go from average crowd of 150 to 38,000, from 25 out to first place. Miserable night.
Here's the 2-2. And Gomes fouls it back. A fastball at 94 from Yolis. And this ball lined to left, but Fargo comes on and makes the catch. That thing was hammered. That may have been knuckling a little bit also.
Hey, you don't worry about it. I mean, if you're Shashin, it's an out. You know what I mean? You just look in your mind, ball's hit hard, it was right at somebody, forget about it, move on.
He's got the right guy, Gonzalez. He catches everything. Ramon Hernandez will be coming up. Let's take a look at our first text of the night. Can you see the Rockies signing Cargo to a big contract, and when would they do so? Chris is the one who penned that question. Obviously, the Rockies would love to have Carlos Gonzalez on shore for a length of time. They control him right now for the next 4 years. He's not arbitration eligible until after 2011. And we'll see how that goes down. I mean, clearly, when you have a great player, you want to keep him in the fold, especially when he's 24. Just have to watch and see how that plays out. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, that's a tough one to handle for Olivo. It's hard to pronate the hand over when it's a fastball, George. And we saw it yesterday with the Aroldis Chapman. It's hard to, if you think the ball's going to stay in the air, and then to rotate the hand that quick. On Hernandez had one, or actually Hannigan last night, on a 102-mile-an-hour fastball in the dirt that went to the backstop. There's the 2-1. That's down 3-1.
Well, not to take anything away from Yolis, but 92 and 102 is a whole lot different coming at you at home plate.
On the ground to short. Big hop for Tulowitzki. 2 outs. Let's take a look at our Excel Energy Fun Fact of the night. Ubaldo Jimenez won his 18th, an all-time Rockies record. By the way, congratulations, Ubaldo. Entering yesterday's action, Major League Baseball starting pitchers were 0-21 with 5 no decisions in games, which they allowed 4+ runs and 6+ walks this season. Jimenez became the 3rd Rockies pitcher to win such a ball game. And you know what? He deserved it. His stub swings and misses, because his previous 5 outings, George, he really should have had a win in perhaps every one of them.
No question he should have had. I mean, that was like 7 starts in a row. 5 of those starts, the ball club just scored 8 total runs while he was on the mound. So nice to see him struggle, see the ball club score runs, and get out with a W.
That's baseball, isn't it?
It happens every day in every ballpark. With the struggles of Wainwright in St. Louis, I think he was the guy that kind of jumped ahead of Ubaldo for the Cy Young because of all the strikeouts and everything else that he had done. But he has faltered his last 5 starts and has not pitched well. He's now 17-10, yet he still has an earned run average in .235. Prior to that, it was under 2. Other people in contention, Roy Halladay will get noticed because of the East Coast, what he's done to the Phillies. They're 17-10. Latos 13-5, Hudson 15-6 for Atlanta, and Carpenter, Wainwright's teammate, at 15-5. Every single pitcher earned run average under 3.
You got to go quick with this guy, and Stubbs out by a step on the throw from Melvin Mora. 1-2-3 inning in the second, 3-0 Colorado. with George Frazier and Mark Stout. I'm Drew Goodman. Miguel Olivo will lead things off against Johnny Cueto. Ground ball toward the hole, and a long throw for Cabrera. He's not going to get Olivo. He runs too well, and it's an infield single. That is the 5th hit off of Cueto, and that'll make the decision for CIN easy. Let's take a look at our Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. All right, who do you think Mike McHenry called yesterday when he learned he was heading up to the big leagues for the first time? Rocks 1 for Mom, Rocks 2 for Dad, Rocks 3 for his wife. Buy 2 Monroe Shocks or Struts till the end of October and get 2 free. Cueto will have to go to Brandon Phillips for the out. Well done by CIN. Olivo in scoring position. There's Mike next to Stu Cole. Stu, the manager of Colorado Springs.
Well, that was the other call-ups today. They brought up Stu Cole, Doug Litton, the pitching coach, and Renee Latchman, their hitting coach. We had an opportunity to come up for a few days, and hopefully the rest of the season, spend it with the Rockies.
Stu does a nice job in a difficult spot. He was the manager at Tulsa until Clint Hurdle was dismissed last year. Jim Tracy took over. Tom Runnels came up as it's fouled off by Eric Young, who singled his first time up. And when Runnels, who was a manager down there, came up, Stu Cole moved from Tulsa to Colorado Springs. And George, as you well know, it's a tough spot being the manager of a AAA club.
Well, a lot of shuffling going on. Injuries at the top. You get sometimes veterans on the back end to come fill in for 2 or 3 weeks.
And it seems like, and I was talking to Stu about this, your phone's always ringing because, as you said, the roster's changing almost on a daily basis.
It's an evolving door. Well, a lot more than what it does at AA and High A. These guys pretty much stay there the whole year.
0-2's outside, 1-2 on Junior. Rockies up 3-0 on the Carlos Gonzalez 3-run home run. That goes to the backstop, and now we'll see how Dusty Baker plays it. I know it's early in the game, but he's already down 3-0.
Well, I think it'd be difficult if how you would play this situation with EY up and 2 strikes. Not a very good effort. Hernandez, the runner out at second base. You got to try to keep that ball in. He was trying to go backdoor slider. He yanked on it. He got it over into the backside of the left-handed batter's box.
2-2 count. The infield is pulled in.
Man, what you play on to if you're Dusty Baker, what kind of pitcher do you have on the mound? Do you have a sinker ball, ground ball guy? Do you have a fly ball guy? I think that's the difference in what you have to make that decision. Helps you make the decision of infield in or infield back.
And that is ball 4. So it's first and third, 1 out. And Dexter Fowler coming up. Let's check another text. What are the Rockies' rotation options when Jeff Francis returns?
Well, Jeff more than likely going to go down to the bullpen right now. The rotation is kind of set the way they want it set. Jeff has not worked out of the bullpen before. It'll be a new adjustment for him. 3 innings in his rehab the other day. Everything went well and pain-free.
In on the corners, double play depth up the middle. Dexter got a pitch to drive. He fouled it off. Fowler singled sharply through the hole past Joey Votto in the first, making it first and third for Gonzalez, who's on deck, and he hit the very first offering from Cueto over the left field wall. Miguel Olivo starting to heat up again, George, with that bat.
Well, it needs to. It went into a lull for about 30 days there where he struggled a lot, and that's when it was so hot here in Denver. I think that played a little role in it. Caught an awful lot of ball games in a row. That played a role in it.
Good speed at third, great speed at first. Great speed at the plate. 1-1. When your windshield's damaged, the folks to call, Safelite Auto Glass. 303-287-5000 online at safelite.com. Dexter hitting .533 with runners in scoring position since July 29th. One and two. That number, by the way, the best in the big leagues over the last 6 weeks. Fouled off, out of play. Dodgers in San Diego again a little bit later on tonight at Petco Park. Rockies have been averaging more than 35,000 a night this season. 6th best attendance in the National League. There goes Young, and strike 3, throw to second, not in time. Olivo does not move up. Now with first base open, you'd assume they'll go right on right and pass on Gonzalez. In fact, right now Ramon Hernandez looking in the dugout for Dusty Baker.
Quick throw down, a little bit high. Great speed of Young, just outruns everything. Pretty good release by Hernandez behind the plate. 27 times now they've tried to attempt to steal. They've been successful 12 against Hernandez. It's not surprising. Crowd obviously would love to see Cargo swing it again with 2 men on, but that's not going to happen for Dusty Baker. He's going to treat him like Barry Bonds got treated early in his career. That's when he was hitting a lot of home runs. By the way, Tulowitzki, 95 at bats with runners in scoring position, 29 hits, 3 home runs. He's hit 305.
It's been talked about a lot. Both players are very much aware of it. If you pass on one, you're going to get the other. So Troy Tulowitzki will stroll to the plate. And yesterday, he hit his 3rd home run in the last 4 ball games. This thing was 442 feet. And at the time, they gave the Rockies a 5-4 lead. Troy, despite missing a lot of time this year, among the league leaders in game-winning RBIs. Bases loaded, Olivo, Young, and Gonzalez all on base. Tulowitzki will step up. 9 for his last 23 at the plate. And a slow ground ball to third. Rolling on the move. Low throw, and Votto stayed on the bag. So Cueto handles the bases loaded situation without any damage. Rockies up 3-0 as we go to the 3rd. Today's E470 Road Ahead is brought to you by E470. Open your Express Toll account today and start saving money on E470. Cincinnati, the next couple. The homestand continues with Arizona and then San Diego. No television on Thursday for the series finale against the Reds. Our E470 Road Ahead. Chris Heisey takes a strike, and the fastball is hit on the ground to second. Eric Gunn over to Todd Helton, 1 out. That'll bring up Johnny Cueto. As you look at Yolis, is it pronounced Chacin, or I'm not going to pronounce the other stuff. It is pronounced Chacin, S-E-E-N or S-C-E-N-E for those theater folks. I know sometimes people hear Chacin. It's Chacin. Cueto jumps away at a pitch that wasn't that far off the plate. Ball 1. 1-0 on Cueto. 2-0. Talking to Bob Apodaca, the Rockies pitching coach, about Chacin. I said, has he improved even faster than you could have hoped for? And he said, absolutely.
Well, I think it's easy to say for anybody to say that. 20 innings, 2 earned runs, 19 strikeouts, 2 walks in his last 3 starts. I think the one thing that he has improved on is the fact that he's got a much better fastball command than he had previously when he was up early, even last year. He still has those little hiccups every now and then where he'll walk too many people, as he did against the Dodgers, 5 walks, and all of a sudden no hitter for 4, and then it gets ugly with it. So, I mean, you know, he's going to have some of those things happen to him. And when they do happen, I think the difference now is he has the ability to correct it and in mid-stride and understand the correct way to do things.
Phillips with 2 outs. He struck out on 3 pitches to begin the ball game. Apodaca went on to say that he believes one of the reasons he's had such a rapid rise, first of all, he has great stuff. It begins with that. But he said his intelligence and his aptitude for pitching is really outstanding.
Well, I think what helps all of that too is, you know, when you come to the big leagues and you are a Latin American player, if you have the ability to find somebody with the work habits of Ubaldo and the way he studies hitters and what he does to take you under his wing and show you those things, just like with Ishmael Rogers. First came up, struggled a little bit, struggled in the bullpen, then he goes down, comes back, and he recognizes what it's like to have Ubaldo, who went through those struggles 2 years ago, to have somebody to go look to and talk to and take advantage of that.
Pretty nice resource.
Well, when you have that, I mean, it makes it a lot easier for you when you come into the ballpark. No different than it was for Cargo to have somebody like Miguel Olivo to go talk to.
1-2. Another left-handed hitter, a guy like Jason Giambi. He's been a great tutor for a lot of the position players for the Rockies since his arrival about a year ago. So he works Phillips here. They want the fastball up. And they got up the chase. Boy, Phillips is not picking up the ball from Chacin.
The same result, same pitch, first time at bat. 3-0 Rockies.
Todd Helton, Melvin Morris, Seth Smith against Johnny Cueto, who has been in trouble in each of the first 2 innings. Last inning, the Rockies had the bases loaded against Cueto, and he induced a inning-ending ground out off the bat of Troy Tulowitzki. And Helton with a broken bat, ground ball to first, and Votto looking for Johnny Cueto, and Cueto standing there spectating.
And he tapped himself on the chest too, and I just told him immediately, "What are you doing, dude? Come on. You got to get over here." Cueto understood that after he looked over and saw everything that was going on. Well, let's take one more look at it here. Bat flies to the second base side, but he just locks up and looks over. I mean, the bat's 20 feet from him. Nice play by Votto.
Here's Melvin Mora. 1-0 on Melvin, who tripled to left center field his first time up.
Well, the Reds team's not a team you can fall asleep on if you're pitching against them. Runs first, average first, home runs third, total bases first, slugging percentage first. They're not done in this ballgame. You can't allow yourself to go out and relax.
This ball's hit well to right field. Retreating is Heisey to make the catch. And that's the second out. That'll bring up Seth Smith. This Date in History is brought to you by Dex One, Marketing Solutions Business Results. We go back to 1973. Jerry Park in Montreal. In the second game of a twilight doubleheader between the Expos and Mets, it's delayed 11 minutes for safety concerns. The setting sun makes it impossible for the first baseman to see.
Now, that ballpark was the park they used for the football team there, also in Montreal, the Alouettes, I believe. So the outfield smashed right at roll, and the outfield had a crown in it. So sometimes you miss look for your left fielder a lot of times during the game.
Good see him. 1-2-3 inning for Cueto, off to the fourth, 3-0 Colorado. Recap brought to you by Land Rover. First inning, 2 aboard. Carlos Gonzalez on the first pitch he sees. Fastball low and away. Didn't matter. He drove it out of the ballpark. 3-run home run. His 32nd of the year. RBIs 98, 99, and 100 as he now leads the National League in hitting and RBIs. And he's 3 down in home runs. A Triple Crown candidate. Here on September the 7th. There hasn't been one since 1937 in the National League. Strike one on Orlando Cabrera, who has the only hit for Cincinnati, a broken bat roller through the left side of the infield. Cabrera is a guy the Rockies flirted with in the offseason. He ended up choosing Cincinnati because there was going to be more regular playing time. Chacin peering over his glove. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
Well, the reason a lot of pitchers do that, it allows them to really lock down and focus, because you cut out everything around you. You don't, you're looking out over the top of the glove, so it makes you kind of peer in and make sure you're total focus of the catcher, where he's wanting you to go and what he's wanting you to do. Hanging slider before, hard hook here.
2-2. Cabrera's a guy just coming off the disabled list. He missed 27 games with a left oblique strain. That seems to be going around. Ian Stewart trying to recover from that. Jay Bruce is being treated for that right now. He won't appear in this series. To short. And Tulowitzki with his patented three-quarter throw, which is always right on the money, it seems. One out. That'll bring up Joey Votto, who struck out in the first. Another text message is Ubaldo Jimenez the front runner for the Cy Young Award now that he finally got his 18th victory. Grant, we were discussing that a little while ago, and George kind of broke it down. Wainwright's still in the mix. Obviously, Roy Halladay is in the mix.
Tim Hudson, another guy, 15-6, 230 earned run average, pitching on a winning team, and has pitched very well of late. But I think the 18 wins, there's obviously this year is probably more parity in the Cy Young than there has been in a long, long time. It seems like in the past there's always one or two guys you could go to and say it's going to be this guy or that guy. And I think now, with everybody's wins kind of bunched there together, and all of those guys we're talking about, Cardinals still very much in the playoff picture. Atlanta leading the East. Philadelphia's in the wild card. And, of course, the Rockies where they are.
Well, I think it mirrors the playoff chase. I don't think we're going to know the four teams going to the postseason until the last week of the season, the last couple of days of the season. I think it's the same thing with the Cy Young and MVP race this year in the National League. And I will add this, and I've said this before, and I hope some folks are listening back east. If you're going to take away for the offensive exploits done at Coors Field, because it is a great hitter's park, you should add some for the work of Ubaldo Jimenez this year at 20th and Blake. And Votto walks. One out, and Scott Rowland will come up. I mean, it used to be thought of, George, before the humidor, that you take a full run off whatever your ERA was if you were a Rockies pitcher. If you had an ERA of 4.5, it'd probably be 3.5 if you pitched at sea level. I don't think it's a run anymore, but a half a run, 4/10 of a run.
And again, I think the one thing that's really settled this ballpark down, obviously the humidor has been a part of that, but the Rockies no longer lead the league in walks. They led the league in walks for years. They did not have the ability to get quick strikes on people. That has the high grass in the infield. O'Dowd has put strict orders to the minor leagues, teach a lot of sinker ball guys, get a swing and miss type breaking ball, and you see the results up here with these young kids coming to the big leagues. But what's sad is you've got analysts that are working on the East Coast at networks that pitched and played here, and that's the way they remember the ballpark. They don't come back to see how the ballpark plays now.
And again, it's a very good offensive park. Nobody's denying that. It's not the home run haven that Great American Ballpark is, or Citizens Bank, where Philadelphia plays,
or
Texas, or Miller Park in Milwaukee. Rowland struck out his first time. 4 strikeouts for Chacin, 1 out. Votto at first. Two balls and a strike on Rowland. Lifted in the air to left center field, and Carlos Gonzalez will run over and make the catch. 2 outs. That'll I'll bring up Johnny Gomes. What do you guys do on days when Fox covers a Saturday game? We just had
That's
that
what I
situation.
do right there. We all go run the cameras for Fox.
On Saturday. There's Donnie Mills. Never missing an opportunity to wave. Hey, Bo. What's happening, buddy? Big tennis fan. Bo focused on the U.S. Open right now as well. What do we do? Well, the other day, a bunch of us went out, watched the CU-CSU game, and then, like George, made our way over to the ballpark and watched the Rockies beat San Diego.
I actually enjoy the off days when you're on the road because I go over to the ballpark, spend a lot of times with scouts, get the feel of what they're thinking about the Rockies, and walk around with not having to work the ball game and watch batting practice and relax and enjoy a baseball game.
1 strike count on Gomes. Gomes lined to left, probably the hardest hit ball against Chacin so far in this ball game. And this one's popped up, and Todd's not going to have a play. But it was a very nice Saturday afternoon that we got to be fans. Sat in front of your old buddy. You know that, George? Dave Winfield.
Where'd you bum those seats off of? Those are good seats. That's all
really
the executives for the Padres.
Yeah.
What, everybody get mad and leave early and y'all snuck down there?
Absolutely.
Why not? If it's there, take it.
Here's the 2-strike pitch. 1 and 2.
Hey, how about a $59 Coca-Cola value pack? They're all available for all September games except one. That's the 24th. Get yours today. Call ColoradoRockies.com. Remember, it's 4 ticks, 4 dogs, 4 Cokes, and a whole lot more for $59.
Votto at first, and he takes off. Throw to second is not in time, and Joey Votto has stolen his 13th base of the year. That's right, Joey Votto, 13 of 17 now, stealing bases.
Well, you don't expect it. You don't think they're going to take off. He got a very good jump. Ball's a little tough for Olivo to handle because up and away from him, so he had to kind of reach across the body, get it, make the exchange.
You know, when I see something like that, you just realize how complete a player, Votto is becoming.
Well, the worst part about Votto for us, personally, folks, and here in Colorado, you see him for 4 games this year in Colorado. Typically, it's 3, and then the 3 on the road. You get to watch him on TV, so you really don't get to see the true talents of a young player like this. When you're talking about 6 ball games, maybe 7, you're talking about 24, maybe 30 at bats, and that's if he plays every game.
Sometimes you can't tell with the more baggy uniforms. George, he's a big man. He's 6'3", about 225 pounds. 2-2, and that's pulled foul. First runner in scoring position for Cincinnati. After all, they've had just 2 base runners. The Cabrera single in the first, and the walk to Votto with 1 out here in the 4th. 2-2 on Johnny Gomes. Ground ball, foul. Gomes has been good in these situations, hitting better than .350 with runners in scoring position. He's traveled around, George, but he's always had great appeal because of his tremendous power.
9 home runs with guys in scoring position to go along with that .350 average.
And he just took one off the hip. So that'll put 2 on, and it'll bring Ramon Hernandez to the plate. Chacin in his last outing hit a couple of batters.
Well, I think it's important for young pitchers to work inside and prove a point that part of that home plate is mine. You're not going to hang over the top of it and take some big time cuts on him. So Olivo's going to go out and make sure he's on the right page with him, and he's doing all right. We'll go back and go to work in here.
All right, with Troy Tulowitzki raising so much money with his mullet, well done, Troy. Does that give him a chance for the Clemente Award, which goes to a deserving player, one player voted on each year for the work they do outside of baseball in the community, and Troy has been nominated for the Clemente Award for the Rockies. Glad you brought that up, Fred. Ground ball to third, and Mora didn't get to the bag in time.
I didn't think he did either.
I don't know why in that situation, George, he didn't go across and try to get Hernandez. You have a catcher running, and you had Votto, who obviously has a lead and has decent speed, and you hope that play's not costly, that decision.
Well, and I think so, because when you look up after he touched the bag and got past it, Hernandez wasn't even still down to the first base area. A couple of crow hops here, looks up. That's a split decision he made. Unfortunately, safe by a half a step. Stubbs is the guy for the Cincinnati ball club. He has struggled with men in scoring position. Another look at what we were talking about. Coming in, you'll watch the foot of Votto, watch the foot of Olivo. Maybe he was out. Stubbs this year.
Line drive, Tulowitzki can't get it, and it's going to be a costly play. 2 runs are going to score. This throw off line, and that throw, thankfully, grabbed by Mora, and it's a whole new ball game. Yeah, Chacin should have been out of the inning, and nobody feels worse about it than Melvin Mora.
I started to say Drew Stubbs has struggled with guys in scoring position, 217, but with the bases loaded, he's been pretty good. Now 7 for 17 with the bases loaded. Picks up 2 more RBIs to put that number to 61, out of the reach of Tulowitzki. The couple of runners are going to come around to score. Johnny Gomes the second. The errant throw by, could have been a very errant throw by Olivo. Yesterday's game, interesting too to take note. Yesterday, the Reds able to score against Ubaldo that second time through the lineup for the majority. This is the second time right now for the Reds, too. It's in the 4th inning, though.
Yeah, but you know what, George, to that point, that's their first hit, second time through. You had a walk, you had a hit batter, and you had what should have ended the inning, a 2-hopper to third.
You got to be able to pitch and make a pitch to get out of there. He did make the pitch to get out. Unfortunately, a choice by a third baseman cost him a situation to throw a couple of more pitches.
Chris Heise at the plate, ground ball to second, his first time. Tying run is at third base. And now you got to pay attention to Drew Stubbs. He's 24 of 28 stealing bases. He's one of the fastest guys in the league.
Well, don't go to sleep on Heise either. 7 home runs on the year, 15 RBIs.
The only reason you wouldn't expect Stubbs to run is that would make the decision easy for the Rockies. They would pass on Heise and pitch to Johnny Cueto.
Now, smart baseball tells you to put the anchor on him at first base.
One ball, 1 strike. Line drive down the right field line into the corner. It's a foul ball.
Talking about making those pitches that you have to make, and then you just hope something like this doesn't stay in fair territory after a decision like that. It doesn't. I mean, it's foul by 4 or 5 feet, but it kind of made the hearts drop of people at home and here in the ballpark for a second. That base hit there more than likely could have scored 2 with the speed of Stubbs at first.
One and 2 on Chris Heise. To Colorado. That's pulled down the line, and that is foul. And he's flirting with both lines.
I'll just keep it outside of him until you can hit it at somebody. Let's check on another text.
Does the step used by hitters as the pitch is coming? Is it a timing thing, or does it have something to do with their power? It's a timing mechanism. I assume the question, George, you understand about if a guy lifts his leg as opposed to just puts it down?
Well, I understand what the guy's asking about, obviously, and again, to answer his question, it is timing about helping you get back to your load to reach your most potent area where you can swing the bat with the most authority to hit out. Tulo has a little tap coming back. Some other guys have like Cargo, have a leg kick.
1-2, and it's punched to second. Well, the Rockies give the Reds an extra out. You don't want to do that with Cincinnati. They're too good offensively. They get a couple. 3-2. Sideline report brought to you by Fast Cash Gold Centers, where you'll always get 40% more for your gold. Once again, here's Mark Stout. Mark?
Hey, Drew and George. Chris Heisey just made the last out for the Reds, the young right fielder. He grew up in the Harrisburg, Pennsylvania area, and he grew up a Phillies fan. He played third and short as a little leaguer. Told me, yeah, I had a Mike Schmidt poster in my room. And he said, I used to go to the vet to watch another third baseman who's fielding right now. His teammate, Scott Rowland, was one of his favorite players. So much so, in 2000, when Scott Heisey was 14, he caught a Scott Rowland home run in left field at the vet. And the first thing he told him when he became teammates was, I got a home run ball that you hit in Philadelphia. So great connection between these two guys on Cincinnati. Funny story from Chris Heisey.
And Rowland probably rolled his eyes and said, man, am I that old?
I know when I walked in next and put my stuff up in my locker, and Lou Brock looked at me and said, I know, and I don't want to hear. Yes, sir.
0-2 on Yoeli Chacin. He has sacked bunt his first time.
You know, it's interesting watching Scott Rowland the day before the game. A lot of guys take ground balls and they'll throw it back to the coaches or whatever. Every single ground ball.
Chacin found an opening up the middle, and Yolis, batting .063 coming in, is aboard for Eric Young.
Every single time I watched him take a ground ball, and it was about 55 today, he fielded, crow hopped, threw it as if it was game time situation. It wasn't a lazy job of just catching ground balls on the surface to get used to it. And it's his preparation like that, as many years as he's played, the Gold Gloves, the whole thing. It's all due to the hard work he puts in prior to games and what he puts in and the teammates feed off of also.
Eric Young Jr. a single and a walk.
So I'm not sure why Scott's in so tight with Young there and a pitcher at first. Talking about Scott Rowland at third base. I mean, I know you're going to try to take the bunt base hit away possibly, but you know, a lot of times managers don't like to put a pitcher in motion. Joey Votto's not holding him on. He'd get a lead equal to him.
That almost went to the backstop again. And Cueto couldn't catch the return throw by Ramon Hernandez.
Just got out of the way and just got in, barely into the webbing of the glove of Hernandez.
1-1, pulled to second. So with 2 outs, Young replaces Chacin.
Yeah, Young hadn't hit that double play ball yet this year, nor do I think he will.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to hit into many of those. AT&T trivia question. Since the start of divisional play in 1969, which team was the earliest to clinch a division title? Dexter Fowler at the plate, a single and a strikeout.
And if you got to send Young on the first 2 pitches, because Fowler, who's led off, if he gets thrown out, which that hadn't happened but twice, if he gets thrown out, Dexter leads off the next inning. Perfect opportunity for Ewok.
And he's picked off.
Yeah, but he was going to. He made 2 very big jumps. And when he did, that got him in trouble there.
That ends the inning. We'll go to the 5th. 3-2 Colorado. FSN is brought to you by AT&T. Find out what's possible at the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T. Rethink possible. By Dex One Marketing Solutions business results. By the fastest growing car dealer in America, Hyundai. And by Exempla Healthcare. Most hearts, most experience. stjosephheart.org. Off to the 5th inning we go. The Rockies got 3 in the first on a Carlos Gonzalez 3-run home run. The Reds responded with 2 last inning. Johnny Cueto, the pitcher, will lead things off, and he gets a like a changeup. That or not a full throttle fastball, but it's in the dirt. And that's in there for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A lot of pitchers that are pretty good athletes will try stuff like that. They'll push bunt it up the first base side and just try to outrun everything because nobody's expecting it.
Chacin's backed way off with the fastball, but he's missed badly, and this is right at Todd Helton, 1 out. Now the top of the order again, Brandon Phillips. Enter the Rocky Mountain Raffle for a chance to win a new home or up to $1 million cash. Please don't wait. There's only 1 day left to enter, and also be included in an early bird drawing for a new Dodge Caliber or $10,000 cash. Go to RockyMountainRaffle.com now to buy tickets, and it benefits the boys and girls clubs of Metro Denver and actually throughout the state. Phillips has struck out twice.
Both times he's chased fastballs after falling behind 0-2 and then 1-2 in those two at bats. Fastballs up and out of the strike zone. He felt like the second strike called in the previous at bat, a slider, was up in the strike zone. He gave the look to Eric Cooper. Nonetheless, it ended up in a strikeout.
Two 2-0 on Phillips, and here comes Miguel Oliva. While Miguel visits with Yoli Chacin on the mound, we'll check another text message. Has any player won the MVP and not made the All-Star game in the same year?
Dougie, go to work.
Well, recently it happened in 2007 in the National League. Jimmy Rollins with Philadelphia won the MVP, was not an All-Star that year. And Chipper Jones back in 1999 won the MVP and did not go to the All-Star game. Those are the most recent two in the NL. This is hit foul. And in the race for the MVP, also the race for the Triple Crown. This is updated through their work tonight. Carlos Gonzalez has a 20-point lead in batting average on Joey Votto. He's tied with Votto in home runs, and he's moved ahead of Votto in RBIs for the National League lead. So Gonzalez, with his team very much in contention for the postseason, leads in 2 of the 3 Triple Crown categories, and he's only down in home runs by 3. This is pulled to left field for a base hit. And Phillips is going for 2. He's going to test Gonzalez's arm, and it was a bad decision. Phillips is going to argue with second base umpire Bill Miller.
Well, he's going to say he did a swim move over the top of the tag, and that's what Miller didn't see or did not want to see, one or the other. Dusty's got to come out and ask the question about it. And that's why he's asking Miller about it right now. You got to keep your cool in this situation, though. Gonzalez got to the ball, rotated, and Phillips found out very quickly how accurate his arm is and how strong his arm is.
Watch this throw. It's his 7th assist of the year. It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. It's right on the bag. That leads the Rockies. Just another department he leads
I think he's safe, though, unfortunately. Let's see. See, he's going to come in and use that swim move, and the only reason I say that, he missed there. Did not get him yet. Did he get him on the backside? Because EY's still reaching for him when he touched the bag. That was a great slide, but you take the out.
That was a Michael Phelps slide.
A really good slide.
You know, as vociferously as Phillips argued, I have to believe you're right, George. It's hard to tell on that video, but I think he missed it. I don't think he sticks around as long as he did. If he.
Why is he chasing with the glove then? Watch right here. All right, did I tag him? Whoop, wait a minute. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And why are you coming back up to? Got him right there. Maybe let's see. And then the umpire's looking and watching. I mean, he's down with him. See, look how down the umpire is. Credit Miller for that. I mean, he's down looking. Right, he got it.
As you like to say, George, he's in the dugout. He's out. Base hit with 2 outs for Cabrera. He's 2 for 3. And now Votto comes up, who's 0 for 1 and a walk. I'd rather have Joey Votto leading off the 6th inning. AT&T trivia question. Since the start of divisional play in '69, which team was the earliest to clinch? And this is a base hit to left center field. Fowler will cut it off. And here's the throw on the way to third. It's not handled by Mora. Votto went halfway and didn't move up. If Melvin's able to hang on, I don't know if the slide kicked it free, then Cabrera's out.
Well, he stumbled coming around second. That opened the opportunity for the out at third if he doesn't stumble. Here comes the throw from Dexter, and Cabrera stumbles, so now he's coming in. And you talk about running out of gas. I think that's what happened. When the collision hit, the ball flipped out. You'll see on the Hyundai cam here, he catches it. Well, no, he didn't catch it. I thought he did. It hit, and I think Melvin thought he had it, and he went to go tag, and the ball wasn't there in the glove.
Scott Rowland, a strikeout and a fly ball to left field. First and third, 2 outs. Strike one. Well, the answer is the Cincinnati Reds. The Big Red Machine of 75. The world champion Reds clinched on September 7th in game number 142.
The Cincinnati team knows how to win on the road. They're 38 wins, tied with the most with San Diego, 38 road wins. They're 13-8-1 in road series. A large part of why they are in first place in the National League Central.
Two and one on Rowland. Take a look at the Amica hit zone on Scott Rowland. Amica, it's not how you're covered, it's how you're treated.
Well, you can see everything up in the strike zone. We're talking about a high ball hitter. He's looking for everything from there up. Handling balls going down and away in this direction, you have your best success. That ball away at 91, a fastball, and obviously was tardy to the class.
George fooling a lot of guys with his off-speed arsenal the first time through. He struck out 4 the first 10. He does not have a strikeout since then.
Well, it's second, third time through the lineup. It's up to Olivo and Yolis to make those different changes and adjust to what they're doing and what they're swinging at.
2 and 2 on Scott Rowland.
Got away with one. That was that hit zone we showed you on Amica up above the hands. And that was a breaking ball.
Three straight singles here in the 5th inning. Fortunately, Brandon Phillips, trying to stretch a single into a double, was thrown out by Carlos Gonzalez. And this is line to right, foul. Repair that chip to your windshield by calling Safelite Auto Glass 303-287-5000, online at safelite.com. Cabrera at third, Joey Votto at first. Another 2-2 upcoming to Scott Rowland. And it's on the ground to short. Good job by CIN. He gets Rowland in a key situation. He preserves the Rockies' 3-2 advantage as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Tulowitzki trying to add on here in the bottom of the 5th. Who wants tacos? Fans, if you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies score 7+ for the Rockies taco special from Taco Bell, text the keyword taco to 95323. Fowler a single and a strikeout. Rockies got 3 in the first on a 3-run home run from Carlos Gonzalez against Johnny Cueto. And George, they almost ran him off in the second. They had first and third, 1 out. Eric Young attempted to steal. Dexter Fowler struck out, and EY was safe with a stolen base. Cueto intentionally walked Gonzalez, loading the bases for Tulowitzki.
Well, more importantly, he had 40-something pitches, and now all of a sudden he's sitting on 55. I mean, he's really tightened up and able to get quick outs in this ball game, which obviously is going to extend his time in the ball game.
He was able to get Tulowitzki on a ground ball to third to end that threat. 2-2. And then to George's point, the last 2 innings have been 1-2-3 innings, despite a Chacin base hit. And Fowler's gone. One out. That'll bring up Gonzalez. How many at-bats do you need in order to qualify for the batting race? Will Tulo get enough? 3.1 plate appearances for every game your team played. So Troy Tulowitzki, if he gets 4 at-bats, 4 plate appearances in this ball game, will qualify for the batting race. Troy is hitting at least .321 coming in, and he's now at .319 since he's 0 for 2. Ball 1 on Gonzalez. Another guy to keep your eyes on, Omar Infante, the all-star with Atlanta, needs 30 more plate appearances. That's a strike, and he's hitting .339. So if he gets enough, depending on where he is, if and when he gets enough, he could be challenging the guy at the plate, Carlos Gonzalez. 1-1.
Well, as you would expect, an Isamika hit zone on Carlos Gonzalez. Just what you anticipated. A whole lot of red. Not much blue, and the blue's even good.
3-1. You noticed a different approach. It used to be they were trying to get Gonzalez above the hands. Now a lot of off-speed pitches, curveballs, changeups, and hitters counts.
Well, they started to try to come inside all the time with the fastball and couldn't do it.
And it was a 3-1 changeup to the point we were just discussing.
And high at that, even though it caught top of the strike zone. Gonzalez, who's become pretty disciplined with his zone and knows where it is, thought it was a ball.
And a foul tip, it's held. And a strikeout number 4 for Cueto. That'll bring up Tulowitzki. It was a slider that got him. Time to go outside the box with Jack in the box. Game-winning RBI leaders in the National League. Pujols and Votto 17, Carlos Lee 15, and then Troy Tulowitzki tied with 4 others at 14. But Tulowitzki has more than 90 fewer plate appearances than those 3 guys that are ahead of him. The outside the box brought to you by Jack in the Box. Troy got his 14th yesterday with that monstrous home run. And this is on the ground to second. Well, Cueto has hit his stride. We'll go to the 6th inning. It's now a 3-2 ball game. We've been locked in on that for a couple of innings. Drew Stubbs to face Yoli Chacin, who's thrown 90 pitches in the ballgame. Gomes signed during spring training with the Reds. He's looking perhaps for a multi-year deal elsewhere. Been a good year for him. 1-1. That wasn't a good swing. He has a career high in at-bats. Hits with 111, doubles 22, RBIs 76. Pulled foul. It's 1-2. It's a big inning, George, for Chacin. He gave up a couple of runs when the Rockies didn't put away the inning defensively in the 4th inning. Then he gave up 3 straight hits in the 5th inning. He needs a quick and quiet one. Well,
93 innings here. This ball's hit right at Dexter Fowler. That'll help things. 4 pitches and an out for Johnny Gomes.
Here's our Geico quote of the night. Well, yesterday Dusty Baker was asked about having just 3 healthy outfielders. Jim Edmonds, Lance Nix on the disabled list. Johnny Gomes almost got hurt making a sliding catch in the 1st inning yesterday. Would he bring up somebody from Louisville? Now, Louisville's going to be in the postseason in AAA, and he said, this ain't the time to be trying nobody, especially where we are. When you try somebody out there, you want to do it with a smaller field like our field. You need Willie Mays, Kurt Flood, or Paul Blair, and Paul Blair out there. Talking about the Colorado outfield, or as George Frazier likes to call it, the Ponderosa.
Ponderosa looking for Haas and Joe, Little Joe, and Adam come riding by.
That's why the Rockies are built to play in this park with Gonzalez and Fowler out there. That's not to take anything away from Orion Spilborg. Seth Smith does a good job on the corner spots. There's Smith.
One guy that has not struggled since the break's been this guy at the plate, taking over full-time catching duties for the Cincinnati Reds. 333 average, 20 RBIs, 3 home runs, covering 24 ball games. Pretty impressive numbers.
One-two, and he lifts that fouling out of play. Take a look at our Quest high-speed pitch, brought to you by Quest, the high-speed internet provider of the Colorado Rockies. Cueto at 96, Chacin at 94. 2 very good young arms. Johnny Cueto, 24 years of age, 31, 39 big league games. Swung on a pitch. Good pitch by the 22-year-old Chacin. That is strikeout number 5, and the first punch out for Chacin since he fanned Brandon Phillips for the final out in the 3rd inning.
It's been a while. I mean, this has been very aggressive lineup so far against him.
Drew Stubbs at the plate. A 2-run single his last time up. Slider on the corner. Changeup. Man, that was a good pitch. You always talk about extension, George, and finishing a pitch. He finished that changeup.
Reached out. You have to in order to have the proper movement and location down in the strike zone.
0-2 on the Texas product. Drew Stubbs outside. Looking ahead to the all-important 7th, 8th, and 9th. Pitch count at 102 for Chacin. The good news in yesterday's ball game, the Rockies win. Ugaldo wins his 18th, but it was Rogers, Reynolds, and Morales that finished things up. So you have Belisle and Betancourt, Street all rested. And a lot of friends with him, George.
Yeah, a lot of guys sitting down there tonight. They had to bring in an extra bench for storage for everybody to have a seat.
Looked like 24-hour fitness a few minutes ago, and everybody got up to stretch. This ball lined to left, and Cargo fielded on a hop. So Stubbs reaches in front of Heisey. with the AAA season over, will the Rockies be bringing up any other players like Brad Eldred? Well, they've brought up, I think, everybody they're going to bring up.
Unless an injury happens, more than likely you won't see any more from Colorado Springs. With all the shuffling going around, too. I mean, Manny Corpus surgery tomorrow. So, I mean, how much room is left also on the 40-man roster to add people?
Bilal starting to toss. Of course, Jim Tracy would love to see Chacin get this third out here. And if you missed it earlier, the Rockies did make some roster moves today. Jay Payton is with the club now. He deserves to be. Had a terrific year in Colorado Springs, 323. Edmer Escalona is up, power arm for the bullpen. Paul Phillips is up. He was up earlier for a while. Swung on and missed. Taylor Buchholz was designated for assignment. And yesterday, Mike McHenry came up. Chris Nelson came up a few days ago. Managers like to have extra bodies, you know, a guy who can pinch run, you know, an extra bat, an extra arm, and perhaps in a blowout situation. What they don't want is a traffic jam on the bench.
Well, you don't want that, because all of a sudden you don't want some guy sitting on your bench or in your bullpen as a manager that's just happy to be here, and he's maybe not locked in as you are in a playoff chase. Jay Payton's a veteran guy that can fill that right-handed bat maybe late in the ball game and be serviceable in two of the outfield positions.
0-2 on Heisey, and this is lifted to center field. Dexter will have it, and Chacin does a good job in the 6th inning. Stubbs left at first base. Middle of 6, the Rockies 3 and the Reds 2. This was a big play in this game. 2 outs, first and second, a bouncer to third. Joey Votto running. And with Ramon Hernandez, the guy who hit the ball, Melvin Moore decided to try to beat Votto to the bag, who actually runs pretty well. It turned out to be a poor decision because Votto was called safe. The next hitter, Drew Stubbs, hits a 2-run single. Otherwise, it may be a 3-0 ball game right now. Todd Helton leading things off against Johnny Cueto. Here in the bottom of the 6th, outside ball 1. Todd, a deep drive to left in the first. Then he hit a ground ball to Votto, his second time up. Career .331 hitter against Cincinnati. 2-0. Eric Cooper, our home plate umpire. He's been steady tonight. Mike Riley at first, Bill Miller at second, Chad Fairchild at third. He's at a very fair zone. Nope, tried to hit that one upright. It's 2-1. Rockies trying to win for the 5th consecutive day. The Rockies do win, they'll move to 10 games over 500. The Rockies season high was 11 right before the All-Star break. Actually, Doug, did they reach 12? They reached 12, and then they lost on that Sunday. High fly ball center field. Helton got the barrel to it, but he got under it.
Well, by the way, Philadelphia defeated Florida 8-7. Pittsburgh beat Atlanta 5-0. Other scores of concern: St. Louis is losing 4-2 to Milwaukee in the 7th. And Tim Lincecum has a shutout through 3-0 San Francisco over Arizona.
Well, tomorrow morning, Philadelphia will wake up in first place in the NL East, and now Atlanta is in second place, leading the wild card. Mora takes a strike. Yeah, the high water mark was 49-38, 11 games over. So again, with a win, the Rockies could go to 10 games over. Battle back ever since that 2-9 road trip right after the All-Star break, which began in Cincinnati.
But 2-9 there, and then 2-4 in Pittsburgh and New York. So you start to add that up. I mean, 4-13 is a rough way to start it on the road, because the Rockies were only home 3 days in between the 2 road trips when they played Milwaukee here for 3. Or getting more playing time, the average climbing 290 since the break. Before it was 257. Good news, Ian Stewart about ready to come back. Went over some baseball activities today. Swinging off of the tee, taking live batting practice, ground balls.
He's due to come off on Friday, eligible to come off on Friday.
I think it'll be pretty close by then. Been rough for him to watch, not be able to participate and help his ball play.
And he's swinging pain-free. And Cueto strikes out Mora. So Cueto, ever since the second inning, where he nearly gave up more runs, has dominated the Rockies. He's given up exactly 1 hit since that second inning, and that was a punch single up the middle by Yoli Chacin, of all people. 2 outs, Seth Smith coming up. Reminder to enter the Rocky Mountain Raffle for a chance to win a new home or up to $1 million cash. Don't wait, 1 day left. And if you do, you're entered in an early bird drawing for a new Dodge Caliber $10,000 cash. Go to RockyMountainRaffle.com to buy tickets for the Boys and Girls Club. 2-0 on Smith. Strikeout and a sharp ground ball to Rolen at third. All 16 of Seth's home runs have come against right-handed pitchers. It's one of the harder pitches we've seen tonight from Cueto. That was at 96. That pitch was out over the plate. 2-2. Matt Bilal continuing to throw in the Rockies bullpen. You'd assume he'll be in the ball game in the 7th. And a ground ball to second. Phillips. Can he recover? Not in time. Just his 3rd error of the year and his first since late May. He had gone 63 games without an error. And Brandon Phillips boots a routine play.
Yeah, very routine. There's 2 hop 3 coming right to you. It looked like he tried to get over and backhand it instead of get over in front, square up, and then be able to make the throw. So it is an error. Very unusual error by a slick fielding second baseman, Brandon Phillips. Just beat it out on the Hyundai King.
Let's see if the Rockies could make the Reds pay. Here's Miguel Oliva, ball 1. Miguel, an infield hit. And a ground ball to third. Ryan Spilborghs has come out on deck hoping for an opportunity here in the 6th. Rockies up 3-2.
Two left-handed bats for Jim Tracy to go to. Giambi will be the one to try to go deep and win a game. Johnny Herrera is the other. As a switch hitter, and Jay Payton, a right-handed bat. It's the one that has. Let me help you out, Jay. It's the one that has 15 on the back of it. Keith Schultz puts the number on the back of the helmets. You ever notice San Francisco? They put the guy's name all the way around the helmet.
Yeah, I have noticed that. And Keith Schultz does such a great job, he and his staff, and they get a lot of activity in the month of September. Those guys are going 24/7. Tough pitch, 2-2. The few bodies here. Extra equipment being transported in. Gonzalez, a 3-run home run in the 1st. That's it for the Rockies offensively. And now it's run full, 3-2. So Smith will be in motion. And this ball driven to the gap. With Smith moving, he'll have a chance to score. In fact, he'll score easily. Miguel Olivo hunting a triple. Here's the throw to third. He's out there. But Smith had already scored, and it's 4-2 Colorado. So Miguel Olivo drives in his 52nd run. It's a big one. Of the day. All right, when Mike McHenry got called up yesterday, we asked you, who did he call? How'd you vote? Did he call mom? Did he call dad? Or did he call his wife? Let's see, how did we vote? Well, our graphic is on the fritz, evidently. Let's see if we have it now. Oh, there it is. 42% said he called dad, 35% he called his wife, 24% said mom. Mike, who'd you call?
My phone rang and I saw it was a North Carolina number. I got kind of giddy a little bit and I picked it up and it was Stu Cole, my manager in AAA. And I'm kind of deaf, a little hearing impaired. And my wife heard Stu say, "Hey, we need you in Denver at 1 o'clock tomorrow." And she just jumped on top of me. And then she goes, "You have to call your mom right now." So I hung up with Stu and called my mom, and she went ecstatic just like my wife did.
So it's kind of, to me, his wife heard. He didn't call her, but his wife heard. But the first call, I guess, which was the question, was to mom. So I guess you voted for mom you get 100% on the test. If you voted for his wife, you get 75%. Here's Matt Belisle, and that's a bullet back up the middle by the pinch hitter Yonder.
Yonder, is that same thing as over there?
No, over yonder. That's where he hit the ball.
You like that, didn't you, Doug? Huh? You liked it, didn't you, Doug? Come on, Doug, tell the truth.
If a pitch, all right, I got to understand this. If a pitch goes over Mr. Alonso's head, would Lou say it went over yonder?
There you go.
George already did. Absolutely. Brandon Phillips at the plate. His error allowed the Rockies to score last inning, and he fouls that off. A rare error from Brandon Phillips, just his third this year. Matt Belisle in relief of Yoeli Chacin. Chacin goes 6 innings, allows 2 runs on 6 hits. He walked 1, he struck out 5. Another real good outing. Very close to 6 shutout innings, too. This is a double play ball. There's 1, and there's 2. Helton picking up Eric Young. Helton had to tag out Brandon Phillips. 6-4-3.
It's tailor-made, too. Ball hit pretty hard here. A little hop right up to Tulowitzki. Perfect feed over to Ewai. Didn't get a grip on the ball. Very wide of Todd Helton. With the Gold Glove first baseman able to recover and make the tag at first base.
Strike 1 on Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera, a couple of hits and 3 trips tonight. 1-1. The big Texan throwing against his former club, the Cincinnati Reds. He was a starting pitcher when he was in a Reds uniform.
First 25,000 on September the 10th will receive a special offer from Floyd's Barbershop. Arizona Diamondbacks are in town September the 10th.
Left-hander Arthur Rhodes up in the Reds pen. Here's the 1-2, and it's a 2-hopper to Tulowitzki. Good inning for Matt Belisle. We've said that about 65 times or so this year. 4-2 Colorado, stretch time at Coors Field. His 32nd big fly of the year. And that produced RBIs 98, 99, and 100. He's leading the National League in that department as well as hitting. And Drew Stubbs got 2 runs back for Cincinnati with a single. And then Johnny Cueto last inning gives up a run-scoring double to Miguel Olivo. Cooney Lexus look back. Visit Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address, Broadway in Littleton. Jay Payton back in the big leagues. Good to see. Hard-working guy has had a very fine major league career. Didn't make the club out of spring training. Went down to Colorado Springs, Georgia. After a slow first couple of weeks, he hit above 300 the rest of the way.
Well, in 116 games at AAA at 323 with 6 home runs and 74 RBIs. He's played in 1,200 and make that 40 major league ball games now with 119 home runs, 521 RBIs. His best year in 03 with the Rockies. He had a career high in hits in 157 games, 658 plate appearances, 89 RBIs, 28 home runs.
And Payton hits it in the air to right field. Izzy will make the catch. And Jay is retired. Arthur Rhodes had a terrific year.
He just continues to go on and on and on with his career. This lefty has been phenomenal. 62nd appearance. 23 holes right now. 50 innings pitched. Still has the strikeouts intact with 45. He's walked 15 and he's kept the ball in the ballpark. Hard slider, good fastball. It'll be a test for young Mr. Young.
Young 1 for 2 and a walk. 4-2 Rockies. And this ball belted to left. Second hit of the night for Eric Young, coming off a 2-hit performance yesterday. Leadoff hitter's been on base 3 times. That's a good night. And here comes Fowler. Dexter's 1 for 3.
By the way,
Eric Young was caught stealing in his last appearance at first base. He got on a fielder's choice in the 4th inning.
I want to put one more little tag on Jay Payton. His last at bat, September 27th, with Baltimore, 2 years ago, 2008. You talk about a guy persevering and wanting to get back in the game, missing the uniform, and then to go to AAA and do that. Big pats on the back and a good reward by this organization.
I was talking to Chris Nelson about him, and I said, you guys have a nickname for him? You don't call him like Pops or anything like that? This ball line to center field's got to get down. It will.
And Arthur Rhodes didn't like maybe the defensive work of a little bit of Drew Stubbs on that ball.
Now 2 on for Carlos Gonzalez. Just to finish the thought, Chris Nelson said, no. He said, we don't say anything disrespectful to Jay because he may be a lot older than us, but he's stronger than us and in better shape than everybody on the team. And that's the truth. I mean, he is cut up. There's Chris Nelson. 2 on. Carlos Gonzalez, 1 for 2 and an intentional walk in the ball game. And against left-handed pitching, he's hitting .322.
I mean, what do you say when you walk out there, Arthur? How do you feel? Pretty good. Well, I just want to say this guy's pretty good at the plate. Don't hang a slider. Don't leave a fastball in the middle half inning. And if you go way away off the plate. Don't let him hit it.
Good luck.
Glad you made the trip out, Coach. So nice to talk to you.
Did you honestly, you ever have a coach come out there and
the dumbest thing,
everything he said was...
I'm going to make this quick. I'm going to make it really good. Jimmy Fry came out of the dugout. Phrase, get a strikeout, be great. Get us a double play. That's all right. You got runners on first and second. And I looked at him and I said, really? They're full. Go to the dugout. He forgot the runner at third.
Oops. Here we go. First and second, 1 out. Cargo at the plate in a 4-2 ball game. Rockies ahead, bottom of 7. The Rockies track team is on base. Young at second, Fowler at first. That puts pressure on the pitcher. Puts a lot of heat on the catcher, Ramon Hernandez. Hard for a lefty to see that Runner at second. He can get in his blind spot. He went slider. It's 1-1. On that pitch, fouled straight back.
A little flatter than the other slider, but had a little more velocity. That's why it flattened out on Arthur.
One and two. Down the left field line, and this is going to be out of play. Check another text very quickly. Have the Rockies ever had a more well-rounded player than Carlos Gonzalez? The closest would be Larry Walker. Larry Walker could do everything. And that's the kind of player Carlos Gonzalez is. Fair statement, George?
Absolutely. Larry Walker.
Swung on and missed, so Rhodes strikes out Gonzalez. There are 2 outs. Tulowitzki's not going to see Arthur Rhodes. Dusty Baker's going to come out and get the right-hander, Nick Massett.
Well, what he's looking at, too, he's looking at the board. The Cardinals are trailing 4-2 in the 8th. They gave one up last night. It's a chance to keep this as close as they can, trailing by 2 at Coors Field, with the hopes maybe they could come back and sneak this thing.
So Rhodes will depart. 4-2 Colorado. Thinking about your kids' futures, you're just starting a family, you've already started a family, contact collegeinvest.org and do the smart thing. Save money in a tax-free manner by utilizing their 529 plans through College Invest. And you can get started with the College Invest savings plan, and you don't have to be somebody that's putting away big dollars every month. You can do it for as little as $25 a month, and you can set up an automatic deposit. That's what we do with collegeinvest.org. Check them out online and get started for your kids' college futures.
Dusty Baker is going to go to Nick Massett, the hard-throwing right-hander that has just been outstanding for his ball club. 3rd in the National League in appearances right now. Hasn't allowed a run since August the 4th. Wow. 27 appearances, 28 and 2/3 innings. This guy has been pretty special for this ball club. 71st game for him to appear in. 16 holes, 66 innings. You see the strikeouts.
His call to the bullpen is brought to you by Xfinity Voice. Unlimited local and long distance calling. Call 1-800-XFINITY. Tulowitzki 0 for 3. Not a breaking ball for a strike. Tell by the body reaction that's not what he was looking for there. On the ground is short. So the Rockies get a couple of hits. They'll leave 2 on. We turn the page to inning number 8. Colorado 4, Cincinnati 2. Heart of the Reds order coming up. By the great Colorado Payback, reuniting you with your money. By Big Brothers Big Sisters, be big and donate your car. You get a free tow and tax break and you'll help change a kid's life. And by the Colorado Lottery, don't forget to play. Top of the 8th inning, the Rockies ahead 4-2, trying to make it 5 straight victories. They've made a defensive change, as they typically do on the plus side late. Clint Barmas comes in the ballgame at second for Eric Young. And their 8th inning man is out there, Rafael Betancourt. George, tough assignment. He'll have Joey Votto, Scott Rowland, Johnny Gomes.
Yeah, this is your 9th inning that most closers have to face. You're right smack in the middle of the heart of their mess, and this is what you're going to have to command. Nobody better to do it than the guy on the hill. Phenomenally, 72 punch-outs, just 7 walks in the season for him, and it's over 60 game span. That is some kind of number.
So here's Votto. He's 1 for 2 and a walk in the ball game. And it's a slider right on the outside corner. Toronto native Joey Votto. Oliva wants that outside corner again, and he got away with a pitch over the heart of the plate at 95. It's 0-2.
Votto knows it too. I mean, he looked at that. He's 0 for 2 in his career versus Betancourt. Betancourt primarily a fastball pitcher. Even the breaking ball he throws is just a cutter. There's not a lot of break to it, but his pinpoint control with that fastball is what allows him to get so many strikeouts.
Two-strike count on Votto. Boy, he located that slider again.
Yeah, he did. Right on the outer half of the plate and down. Last 15 ball games, pretty good. 12 1/3. Only 1 run given up and 23 strikeouts. There's that slider off the plate, induced the swing.
Cardinals won yesterday. They're losing right now in the 9th inning 4-2. The reason I mentioned that, the Reds had an 8-game lead a couple of days ago. They're leading the Central down to 6. 2-strike count on Joey Votto. Top of inning number 8, 4-2 Colorado.
much as you notice a pattern here with what the Rockies have done with all of their hitters. You think about it, in the last 2 days, when ahead in the count, they're going to elevate here on the Southwest Sky Canyon. A pretty good hitter was able to lock those wrists up and hold it back. The Reds have chased that fastball up out of the zone. Come in and test it. Yeah, going to go back out again. Oliva doing a little bit of the T-Berry shuffle behind the plate.
Strike 3 on Votto.
Big pitch.
That was a huge pitch.
As I said earlier in the at-bat, he has the ability to get a lot of strikeouts with his fastball because of the pinpoint control down in the strike zone with it. He just painted this on Votto. Wasn't a whole lot he was going to do with it. Almost looked away his leg. Watch how he's kind of going to span out with that front side that he was looking middle half in. Tried to shoot the hands quick, and he countered that with a good heater away. Got the strikeout.
Scott Rowland's 0 for 3. Gomes on deck, also a right-handed bat. At the knees for a strike. Now getting Votto is huge. Lefties have had much more success than righties against Betancourt. In fact, of the last 84 righties to face Betancourt, he's given up only 13 hits. That's a 155 average, and he struck out 35 of those guys.
First 15,000, September the 11th, will receive an Ubaldo Jimenez t-shirt courtesy of 850 KOA and Napa Auto Parts. It is with the Arizona Diamondbacks in town. ColoradoRockies.com, September 11th.
Here's the 0-2 to Rowland. Defensive swing on a 95-mile-an-hour fastball in the outer third. Third inning in San Diego. The Padres an early 1-0 lead on the Dodgers. Make it 2-0 now. Just put another digit up.
San Francisco 6-0 over Arizona in the 6th. Lincecum still with a shutout.
Another foul ball. Check another text message, this being Tuesday night. It's brought to you by Office Liquidators and OfficeLiquidators.com. What's Clint Barnes' role now with the Rockies? You're looking at it. I mean, Eric Young has taken over in that leadoff spot playing second base, and Clint primarily coming off the bench late in ball games to play defense. And he just stepped onto the field here in the 8th inning. 1-2. Slider was low. And a ground ball deep short, circling on the forehand and making a perfect throw is Troy Tulowitzki. He makes everything look so easy.
It's all about timing, all about positioning too, that allows him to get over onto this baseball, circling the baseball, to get himself in a position to make that strong throw to first base. The longer he's played in this league, and again, it's paying attention to who's at the plate, who's pitching on the mound, and how you typically throw a guy. It allows you to move around defensively to get and make those plays.
Johnny Gomes 0 for 2, hit by a pitch and scored a run in the 4th inning. Rockies up by 2. No swing. top of the strike zone, 1-1, as you see the fourth strike zone. Good pitch.
He's been a little bit everywhere in his zone and able to get to a 1-2 count.
Speaking of zone, George, you know, Rafael Betancourt is one of the most deliberate workers in baseball. No, I mean, he takes a lot of time between pitches, but he focuses on every single pitch. I mean, he takes a lot of time, but he knows exactly what he's trying to execute. 1-2. He couldn't run it up there, put it in any better location. He was off the plate, but it's exactly where he wanted it.
Well, it was where he wanted it, because if you're going to hit this ball, you're not going to do a whole lot with it. Just barely out of the strike zone. Catch it on the southwest cam. You can see it is off of the plate.
That's when you take and then you hold your breath and hope you don't hear the umpire barking, telling you to go back to the dugout. 2-2 on Gomes. You want to go away again. Olivo trying to bluff Gomes, and this is fouled off. George, the lights cast much of a shadow when you're a hitter at the plate, giving you location with the catcher?
Not in the newer ballparks, they don't. The older ballparks like Wrigley Field does. You can see it there. You could see it in Fenway. You could see it in Old Yankee Stadium. There would be some shadows around the plate, but in these new ballparks, the lights are so good, it's difficult to catch them.
2-2. Three and 2 on Gomes. Hernandez is next if Gomes were to reach. 3-2 with 2 outs. 8th inning. Pop foul into the upper deck. Do it again.
How about the guy right back there? Hold a shot right there. See? Right back here. Look at the guy in the stands. See him giving all the signs? Yeah. I mean, setting up here catching him 3 or 4 different times. I've been watching him in my monitor with that shot from low first. Back up behind Johnny Gomes' shoulder. Nobody's paying attention right now, Phil. I like the action.
Send a signal to somebody behind the first base dugout. Here's the 3-2 again. High fly ball, deep left field. Gomes has hit it out. And it's now 4-3.
How big a hit was that by Olivo after the error back by Brandon in the 6th inning? Huge.
Number 16 for Johnny Gomes.
What sign are you giving anyway, pal? Come on. You're supposed to be swinging this slider on the corner. Instead, it's fastball center cut, and unfortunately ends up in the seats.
Strong man. 4-3. Ramon Hernandez now at the plate.
Well, last time the long ball hit off of Betancourt, you had to go all the way back to July 31st, along with all the rest of the great numbers he's thrown out there this year.
This is a guy with considerable pop also, Hernandez. That's a good slider. 0-2 on Hernandez. 34-year-old from Caracas, Venezuela. He's at 20-plus home runs 6 different times in his career. Actually, 3 different times in his career. I was reading the double section. Not this time. In the inning, Johnny Gomes hits a 3-2 pitch for a home run to tighten it up. 4-3, middle of 8. Helton to lead it off.
Connection to tell you about. Brandon Phillips, second baseman for the Cincinnati Reds, star in high school in Georgia, went to the same high school as Chris Nelson. You spoke to Chris Nelson before the game. I did as well, and I said, why are you talking to Brandon? Oh, when I was in 8th grade, he told me, he was on the JV team as an 8th grader. They would go to the high school, and Brandon Phillips would hit balls into their practice field, and everybody said, well, Brandon went deep again. He was the hero of that high school down in Stone Mountain that both he and Chris Nelson went to. My last connection tonight, guys.
All right, Mark, thanks very much. A couple pretty good players. One established, one hoping in the next few years to establish himself. 1-0 on Helton. Todd 0 for 3 tonight. Nick Massett got the final out of the 7th inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. Massett out of St. Petersburg, Florida. Came up in the White Sox organization. He was part of the Ken Griffey Jr. trade a couple years ago. That's how he got to Cincinnati. Fastball 95, runs away from the strike zone. 2-1. Rockies 11-4 their last 15. 13-4 their last 17 at Coors Field. Look out. Wow. 3-1.
Yeah, that's what, a lot of reaction to that ball inside. Lucky you're able to turn away and bail away from it if you're Todd Helton.
You will never move quicker in your life than when you have a baseball coming at your coconut. Make a slow man Muhammad Ali quick. 3-2 on Helton. Rockies over their last 17 at home, averaging better than 7 runs a game, hitting .315. Tonight they have 4 runs on 9 hits. The big blow came in the first inning, a 3-run home run right out of the gate from Gonzalez. Ball 4. So the Rockies trying to build another run, have the leadoff man aboard in Helton. That'll bring up Melvin Mora.
How about MLB.com? That's right. You can follow the Rockies on your phone with MLB.com at-bat, featuring all the highlights and a whole lot more. If you'd like more information, go to ColoradoRockies.com.
Todd got off pretty far, and Ramon Hernandez tried to fire behind him.
Well, he got off pretty far because if a ball's hitting the gap, he's got third locked down, maybe home plate. See how far he is, but once the pitch was not hit, he immediately headed back to the bag. He didn't wait to see what was going to happen.
Mora tripled in the first inning. Rockies had singles from Young and Fowler to begin. The opposite field home run from Cargo. Tulowitzki and Helton made out. Then Mora tripled. Seth Smith struck out to end that first inning against Johnny Cueto. Ground ball up the middle. It's fielded it short for the out by Orlando Cabrera. And fortunately, that toss pulled Brandon Phillips out of a throwing position. Otherwise, it would have been a double play.
But I think he probably wanted to go to the back of the bag. That's why he ended up in this position. Ball's here. He's saying it seems slow down. He's wanting to go to the back of the bag, and then the throw carried him all the way over. So all he tried to do is just stay on the bag to get Todd Helton.
Johnny Herrera is going to run for Melvin Mora. And he'll stay in the game at third base. Smith reached on an error his last time up. Proved to be a critical play in this game. Just the third error all year for Brandon Phillips. That's down. He came with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Then Miguel Olivo followed with a double to deep left center. And Smith, because it was a 3-2 pitch, was running with the pitch. He scored easily. And that right now is the difference in this baseball game after that home run by Johnny Gomes. One. Crowd of 29,164 on a Tuesday night. Houston Street. He's been firing now for a few minutes. He's pretty much ready to go. And this is in the air to center field, shallow center field. Stubbs makes the catch, and that will bring up Olivo. Giambi on deck if Olivo can reach. Miguel 2 for 3 tonight. That RBI double his last time up. That worked well here.
Got nobody warming up down in their bullpen. No left-handers anymore. I mean, they've used Rhodes into the ball game. They still have 3 others there. Chapman, Maloney, and Bray. They all pitched yesterday for Dusty. Dusty hopes this is where Massett ends it with Olivo. That's his thoughts. And Massett has been so good for the Reds. What's Olivo thinking? Get one up in the air, get one in the outfield, get one in the gap, and let's run a little while.
Part of that reason also, George, lefties against Massett hitting only 195. And a bullet up the middle. Another base hit for Olivo. Herrera will stop at second. And Giambi will get to hit here.
Giambi in pinch hitting this year for the Rockies. 29 times, 6 hits, 1 home run, and 6 RBIs. And again, you talk about left-handers and the numbers that Massey has put up. Giambi this year with runners in scoring position impressive numbers of 372 and 43 opportunities, coming through in a big way with runners out in scoring position. His 8th at bat in the month of September. He's 2 for 7 on so far, hitting .286.
2 on and 2 outs. Inside, ball 1 on Giambi. And because of the presence of Herrera at second base, the Reds can't employ that shift that so many teams do. 3 on the right side of the infield for Giambi. Cabrera, you see his positioning to the left of your screen. There's a big opening up the middle. All night if you're Jason Giambi. You hope for a blowout, but you also hope to have an opportunity to swing the bat. And he's got a chance here to extend the Rockies' 4-3 lead in the bottom of the 8th. Phillips will end the inning. So we'll go to the 9th inning. Houston Street will try to close it out. The Rockies 4 and the Reds 3 at Coors Field. Xfinity Voice Unlimited local and long distance. Call 1-800-XFINITY. By Geico, 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. And by College Invest, helping Colorado families save for college. Let's take a look at our game summary brought to you by Ecotech Institute in Denver, where you can make the world your workplace. The Rockies got 3 in the first on Carlos Gonzalez's 32nd home run of the year. He now has a 15-game hitting streak. He leads the league in hitting and RBIs with 100. Johnny Cueto settled in after a tipsy-turvy second inning, and he went 6. Chacin on the plus side went 6. 4-3 Rockies looking for 3 more outs. Houston Street out there. And Tom Helmer has the agenda for the postgame show. Tom?
We'll talk about Carlos Gonzalez hitting the century mark in RBI. Also rookie ball. Another great outing by Yolis Chacin. We'll break that down. Of course, Mark Stout will be down in the clubhouse. It's all coming up right after the ball game. Drew?
Sounds good. Thank you, Tom. The numbers on Houston Street. Looking for save number 16, and he's going to have the bottom third of the order for Cincinnati. And their only left-handed bat available is Juan Francisco, who started at third yesterday, a big power guy.
He does have some power numbers. 36 appearance for Houston Street. He's appeared in 3 ball games against the Reds in his career. 3 saves, 2 hits over those 3 innings, 6 strikeouts, did not walk a batter. Johnny Herrera at third base now for Melvin Moore.
Drew Stubbs has swung it well tonight. A couple of singles and 3 trips. And Stubbs tries to bunt his way on. That's strike 1. Saw Levo setting up away. Stubbs, though he hits in the 7th spot in the order, has a lot of power. In fact, kind of a balancing act when you talk to the Cincinnati brass with this young player. He strikes out too much for their liking right now, because I think he is enamored with the long ball because he does have a lot of pop. but he's also a big-time speed guy.
Two former Texas Longhorns hooking up.
That's right. Here's the 1-1. And look out into the crowd. I'm telling you, that's happened more times this year than in any season I can remember.
Bad order is sticking.
Everybody's okay.
And after that breaking ball, except he forgot to swing with the bat because it was up in the stands. Nice catch. You all right? Yeah, I'm all right. Leave the bat alone. I like it.
One and two on Stubbs. Fly ball to right center field. Fowler and Smith. And it's Smith. One out. Now Chris Heisey. This is a balanced lineup for Cincinnati. There are no automatic outs by any stretch. Heisey, a good portion of the season, has been a pinch hitter and a very good one. He has 4 pinch hit home runs, 7 home runs in all. Starting the last couple of days, and he takes ball 1 just off the outside corner. Tonight, a ground ball to second, a line drive to second, and a fly ball to center field. Good pitch. Juan Francisco has come out in the on-deck circle. Rookie just recently brought to the big leagues.
Well, he's brought to the big leagues just for this purpose. His bat, and he's got a lot of thunder in that lumber. He's one of them guys you send up there. If he can run into one, I mean, he can leave the yard with it. So that's why he's here. A left-handed bat off of the bench late. Started in the ball game yesterday for Dusty. Play the corner outfields or third base. Even the count to 2-2.
And you think about it, if Cincinnati's fully healthy, Heisey's not starting. He's in a pinch hitting role because Jay Bruce would be starting. And furthermore, if Jim Edmonds hadn't gotten hurt, Jim Edmonds would be in the on-deck circle right now. But Dusty Baker doesn't have either one of those guys. 2-2, and that just missed. 3-2. How many shots have we had at Jim Tracy having a white knuckle his way through a 9th inning?
Well, the thing about this 9th inning, ground ball here to Tulowitzki, to throw over to Helton on time and the out. The thing about the 9th inning, you're not worried. You're worried about the 3 outs. You're not worried about how you're going to maneuver a bullpen. You hand it to the guy that's your closer, and all you can do is cross your fingers, sit down, and hope he gets the 3 outs. So far, so good.
2 outs, nobody on. And the kid Juan Francisco will come up. That's what he's done pinch hitting since coming to the big leagues. Yesterday he started at third and batted 5th. And he was 2 for 4 and a walk, including an RBI single in his final at bat. 0-1. Helton hugging the line naturally at first. The outfield very deep. Strike 2 on Francisco. Crowd of nearly 30,000 standing at Coors Field. Rockies trying to make it 5 straight. Here's the 0-2. 1-2. Sixth inning now in San Diego. Padres continue to lead 2-0 over the Dodgers. Giants leading 6-3 in the seventh down in Phoenix against the Diamondbacks. Phil's won, Atlanta lost. Phil's now in first place in the East. Atlanta leading the wild card. Here's the 1-2. He's through. I thought he had it. Ball wasn't held by Olivo. Ball just popped out of Olivo's glove at the last instant.
Yeah, hard to hit up on the heel of that glove and then right back down to the thumb and just didn't stay in.
Street ready. The 1-2. 2-2.
Staying away from the power. You can see on the fourth strike zone, not wanting to go inside at all on this youngster. Can't say that, blame him. Stay outside with your strength.
They're going out there again on the 2-2. Ground ball, base hit through the right side. It was a slider. And now the tying run aboard. And Brandon Phillips coming up. Phillips has had a rough night. He's 1 for 4 at the plate, a couple of strikeouts. But an uncharacteristic error with 2 outs in the 6th inning allowed Miguel Olivo to come up. And he doubled in Smith, who had reached on Phillips' error. That's the difference right now in this baseball game. 4-3. High ball 1.
Hats off for Jim Tracy now in the dugout. Back on again. All you can do is pace when you hand it to the guy to close out your ball games in the 9th inning.
One thing that's been consistent tonight, Brandon Phillips has been late on the fastball. He was late against Chacin. Yeah, when it's up, you're right. He was late against Chacin twice, striking out. And he was tardy there on that fastball up from Houston Street.
Anytime you get a hitter down in a crouch like Phillips is now, as a pitcher, you want to try to get them out of that crouch. They've been able to do that on swings up in the strike zone. That's a slider at 84 miles an hour. Houston, you can see that he's starting to feel better because the fastball's been consistent 92, 93, slider 82 to 85. That's when he's 100% healthy. When not, it's 88, 91, and the slider in the 80 to 82 mile an hour range.
You go up with the heater again?
That's a good process to do it. I know he also likes, and he did, go to the slider and just get the out and go to the house.
Well done. He got him on a slider. The Rockies win again, 4-3 over the Reds. Carlos Gonzalez got him started with a 3-run bomb in the first. And the Rockies have won 5 straight, and they keep the heat on. The Giants and the Padres just ahead of them in the National League West. And also now the Atlanta Braves in the wild card chase. Chacin wins it. He's now 8-9. Cueto takes the loss. He's 12-5. Street is 16th save. Today's delivery of the game brought to you by Jimmy John's. That 2-out double by Miguel Olivo to drive in Seth Smith. Game-winning RBI for Miguel. And the Rockies